A beautiful moment to you, and welcome to Prime Media TV. It is therapy moment, and as you know, therapy moment is usually for relationship and marital issues. I am your host, Nwachuku C. Treasure. I brought to you something really interesting today, something that you will love to be part of. But before I go into all I have for you today, I will go on a quick break. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. Today, I have something very interesting to share with us. Like you know, therapy moment is always a wonderful moment, a moment we talk about relationship related issues and maritally related issues. Today, what I have for us is dealing with pressure for marriage from parents. This pressure do come from friends, it do come from colleagues at work. This pressure do often come from even the society. All right, when you come to certain age, it seems as if everybody, sometimes in your area, it seems what is running is marriage. Everybody is just getting married, and you are tempted to be pressurized to go into marriage. But today we are looking at the segment of the pressure coming from parents. We often see cases where parents pressurize their children into marriage, not considering, not wanting to know if these children of theirs are mentally, psychologically, or physically, ready, prepared for marriage. We see cases, where children, someone happen to be the only child, only daughter, only son. There is this syndrome in Africa, in Nigeria. I need grandchild, give me grandchildren. I want to see my grandchildren before I die. Stuff like that has been reasons, propelling facts why many have been pressured into marriage. And we've seen the resultant effect of this pressured marriages. Many never ended, very well. Many never lasted. Many suffered abuse as a result of going into marriage, as a result of pressure from parents. Okay, so we want to look into this thing. How has it been of help to marriages in the society today? What harm has it caused us? What harm has it caused people? Sometimes just having to do things just because you want to make your parents happy, not because you really want to do it, or not because you are ready for it, but just because your mother wants to see grandchildren, your father wants to see grandchildren, and boom, you go into marriage. Oftentimes, we see cases of people just immediately after graduation from the university, the next thing is you must settle down, you must bring husband home. Recently we even saw a case of one of our prominent governor in the state who gave his daughter a year to bring a man home. And the thing is, this forceful marriage or marriage by pressure or due to pressure has led to increase in poor or failed parenting in the society today. Many who are not mentally and psychologically prepared for marriage or for parenting has become one just to please their their parents. Right? All these are more has contributed to more harm than good to marry many marriages in the society today. Now, hurrying into marriage based on home pressure usually give room for wrong choices. All right? When this thing happen, many people fall victim of making the wrong decision or choosing the wrong partner. When you search in haste, there is this saying that hasty climbers usually have sudden fall. That has been the case of many who, as a result of pressure from home, rushed into bringing somebody home or rushed into settling down, not necessarily because they were ready for it. Many young men and women has lost their life through domestic violence, depression, high blood pressure, and other diseases associated with torture from wrong marriages. We've heard cases of people in Nigeria and all over the world how people die as a result of domestic violence, as a result of abuses of different measures in marriages. And these marriages are oftenly, wrong marriages, which are, were influenced sometimes by give me grandchildren syndrome. So how long do we allow this to to continue? All right, this program is coming to you to sensitize you that we must be ready for marriage before going into marriage. We shouldn't go into marriage just because we want to please our father, just because we want to please our mother, just because we want to please our friends, or want to feel that yes, sometimes when you get to certain age, yeah, especially when you have some kind of friends, they feel like you are beautiful, you have all the money. Why are you not married? As if marriage is used to measure how successful one is in life. This thing has really affected us badly, and it is time for us to look into it. If you are in marriage already, you can tell even in our comment section how has this thing affected you. And those who are not yet in marriage, this program is coming to you to sensitize you, to make you understand that even your parents made their own decisions on marriage by themselves, and you should not allow anyone to make that decision. That is a very dangerous one. All right, we must not allow anybody to make that decision for you. Many has been pushed into unplanned marriage just immediately after their university. Some were victims of only son and only child or only child. I mentioned this earlier. Many, as a result of they are the only child, has been forced into early marriage. So many has even been forced, parents who want, they feel like the son of their friend should marry their daughter so that the friendship can continue. As a result, matchmaking, as a result, marriages that will not that ended up not lasting for more than 2 years, for more than 3 years, become order of the day. All right, we've seen cases where so many marriages just after 1 year they began to have issues. So it's a thing that should require your absolute preparation, readiness before going into it. All right, career pursuit is no longer a concern for most parents today. Just imagine someone who spent years to study and graduate from the university, and the next thing is marriage. Bring a man home, bring a woman home. When will you give me grandchildren? After spending years to study, no concern about what next after university, what next in your career pursuit, what next do you want to do with your life. The next thing most parents want to talk about is, marriage. Psychological readiness is not also a concern to many of them. Not all men are even, mentally ready or matured for marriage. Okay, so the pressure for marriage from parents and society has gradually become a universal problem. On a more serious note, that is what we are witnessing almost everywhere. And almost everyone that are victim of these circumstances has one negative, testimony, one negative report or the other, from it. Okay, so here I have, today we have many monsters out there, you know, who are parading themselves as potential husbands and wives, and the chances of being deceived by one of them is increased 1,000-fold when there is pressure from home. We have a lot of men out there, even though they are rich, even though they have cars, but they are not responsible men. We have a lot of women out there, even though they are very beautiful, they have this, they have that, but they are not marriageable women. We have those many women out there, even though they came from reputable home, from rich background, they are not marriageable. They've not been cultured, nurtured for marriage. They've not attained that height where they can make decisions themselves. And that is why we see cases of marriages where any little thing, the man takes it to their mother, takes it to his mother, mentally grown, or has not grown mentally to make decision for himself. A mommy boy, a daddy's boy will always report every marital issue between him and his wife to the father. All right. So we have so many things out there. Is the reason sometimes when you see somebody is beautiful, and sometimes you see the body stature of somebody is nothing compared to the person's age. Sometimes you see somebody who is just tall and with big body. You feel the next thing the society wants to say, when are you getting married? Your father has all the money. If you are, So it has been the reason so many people today has made so many wrong choices. All right. If you pressure your children into marriage and they ended up with the wrong spouse, they will they will they will hold you responsible and blame you, all through their marital journey. If you fox, if you as a result of pressure, and because they want to make you happy, because they respect you, they want you to be happy, and they go into marriage, when they were not prepared. Sometimes even the person they are in a relationship with, they are still trying to consider, they are seeing some funny character, but because the pressure becomes much, they bow to the pressure. If this happens, they will hold you responsible in their mind. They will always talk about it. My mother, sometimes they even tell their spouse, if not for my mother, do you think I will marry? If not for my father, I blame my mother for all this. I blame my parents for all this. We hear cases like this. So children should be allowed to make their decision, their choices, and both the person they want to marry and when they want to marry, when it has to do with marriage. Now, I have some points here on how to handle marital pressure from home, from our parents. I tell you, this thing comes from our places of work. It comes from the society at large. But when it's coming from home, it becomes more. No, no, it is heavier when it's coming from home. So now, in as much as getting married is good and has its benefit, we must not forget that you know there is anything that has merit has its demerit. So we must not forget that if you make choices because of pressure from home, you will bear the consequences alone. There has never been a case where after marriage your father or your mother follows you to your husband's house to live with you. It is not possible. So you are the one that will wear the shoe. You are the one that will wear the cap. Right? So for that reason, considering how long you will be wearing that shoe, make your choice. Check it very well. Test the shoe and know if it is your size. Test it and know if it is going to, if you can be able to wear it for a long time. All right. If you make decision because of pressure, you will bear the consequences alone. It's also important to note that marriage is an individual race. Your parents run their own. As a matter of fact, you are a product of that race. And you were not there when he made his own decision. And he made his own decision by himself. Before you embark on a race, you must be prepared for it. All right, so you have to prepare for it before going into it. Therefore, if you know you are not ready to commit to marriage, or you haven't found someone who can make you happy, it is advisable you respectfully inform your parents and take your time until you are ready or you found someone suitable. You see, not all that are married today are committed to their marriage. You see a young man who is still a playboy. You see a young lady who is still out there to catch cruise. All right, and you say, go and marry, give me grandchildren. That is why we have so many irresponsible fathers out there, irresponsible mothers out there. All right. You see a married lady, a married woman who still behave as though she's a spinster. You see a married woman who still want to go to club. A married man who still goes to club because they are not yet mentally psychologically they are not ready for marriage. You need to be ready for marriage so that you can be committed to your marriage. All right. So if you know you are not mentally ready, if you know you are not willing and ready to commit to marriage, no matter the pressure coming from anybody, make sure you don't succumb to that. All right, to that pressure, because it will be a disaster. It will be a disaster. All right. Furthermore, uh, remind yourself that you do not always need your parents' approval for everything you do in life. There are so many bad things we are doing in this life. You do in this life, not your parents approve them. Not your parents, you didn't learn it from your parents. So you should understand that when it comes to certain things in life, you do not need parental approval, because they will not join you to bear the shaggy, if you make wrong choice. If you constantly aim to meet their demand, you may struggle to discover what you want for yourself. If all you want to do is to please your mother, to please your father, I don't want to hurt them, my dear, it will be difficult for you to discover what you want for yourself. When it comes to marriage, you know who you like. You know what you want in a man. You have your spec. Your parents' spec might not be your spec. All right. So that is why you must make the decision for yourself. You should also know that you mustn't always live your life to please your parents. Seriously, because sometimes their decision is not pleasant, it's not favorable. So you must not, because you want to please them, and do things that you may live your life to regret. Okay? If all you do is listen, obey, and never disagree, you may live to regret so many things. If all you do in this life is anything they say, anywhere belle face, anything they ask you to do, you do. Your own is obedient child. My dear, you may live to regret so many things, in life. Sometimes we are required by nature to say no to certain opinions, regardless of who it's coming from. By nature, as an adult, it is expected, it is required of us to say no to certain opinions, not minding who it's coming from. There was a case in the Bible where a man, you know, Hezekiah was got a message to prepare his house, for he will surely die. The message came from God. That man didn't just accept the message and start, preparing his house to die. He turned to the wall and challenged that in prayer to God, and God hearkened to him. So sometimes we are expected to say something. Don't just say because this thing is coming from my parents, I must say yes. No. All right. What if they ask you to do the wrong thing? Must you also say yes? You have your common sense. You know what you want in a woman. They don't know what you want in a woman. They don't know what based on your exposure, what your taste for life, right? And their taste and your taste shouldn't be the same. For that reason, you should be the one to decide who you marry. If you always say yes without saying no, it might be, you might have to regret so many things in life. Remember, those who pressure others into marriage are not always there to face the shaggy. Shaggy now has become normal English in Nigeria under this administration. Shaggy, everybody now understands shaggy, right? And the promise of it is banza, shaggy banza. Right? So many of people who have been pressured into marriage and are in that shaggy alone today. So for that reason, sometimes after some years of marriage, our parents die, after pressuring into that shaking. They might not live more than 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, but you'll be the one to suffer the effects of any choice you have made. Right? It is important we consider this. Right? So you don't we need to be intentional. Be intentional. You need to be prepared, so you won't have to blame anyone in the long run. If you make your choice yourself, and after the choice you discover that what you expected is not what you will have no one to blame. You take responsibility. So you need to be intentional, you need to be prepared, so you won't have to blame anyone for any error. Now, in conclusion, parents should learn to step back and allow their children, both male and female, to decide their own lives. Not in all cases you want to exercise parental authority. All right. Even God has given us power of choice. All right. So we shouldn't deprive our children the right to make their choice especially when it comes to issues that borders on marriage. Okay, mounting pressure on either sex to get married is absolutely wrong, and it is very, very harmful to the marital race. Many has been pushed into marriage and when they hadn't planned to, and this has led to increase in failed parenting in our society today. Why do we have failed parenting? It's a result of people who are not ready, to become who are not nurtured enough to become parents, going into parenting. People who lack even the moral understanding, who have not even nurtured themselves, trying to nurture another. All right. So if you know that this thing you are not mentally ready, don't go into it because you will keep on. Right. So please don't go into wrong marriage. Don't allow anybody to push you into marriage without preparation. Let's say no to marital pressure from parents, from family. Say no to marital pressure from friends and to the society at large. Marriage is a lifetime journey, and it is what any measure of readiness or preparation you have desired before going into it. It's a long time journey till death do you part. Because many are not prepared before going into it. That is why they are no longer, it's no longer till death do you part. Till divorce do us part is what we now witness today. All right. Some of us, I don't know, it's very funny. We grew up to see our parents together and we watch our parents live together and died. Now we cannot maintain the same legacy. Why? Because our marriage was pressured or was bettered by pressure. Right. So when you choose the one that completes you, when you on your own without the influence of anything, materialism or whatever, beauty, status, if you don't allow this thing to influence your thinking, your choice making, and you choose rightly the person that suits you well, there is no reason why divorce should come in the long run. Okay, so it is important we know that we must bear in mind that marrying early or late does not, guarantee a good marriage. Marrying early or late, it doesn't guarantee a good marriage. So therefore, it is important that we choose wisely using parameters like friendship. Who do you marry? Marry your friend, someone you are fond of. All right, mutual respect, someone that respects you mutually, that minds what he tells you, not somebody that can tell you lori buruku anytime, someone that calls you oloship and say it's a joke. Someone that doesn't mind telling you thunder fire you and they say it's a joke. Or someone that greets you with abusive words and all that and sees it. So someone who has mutual respect, you respect that person and not minding your age, the person is willing to respect you, to reciprocate the respect. Marry such a person. Somebody who, most importantly, has the fear of God. Somebody that has conscience. All right. Marry a man or a woman who love God, who has understand authority figure in his or her life. All right. Marriage is very sweet when you find the right person. Don't allow anybody to push you into marriage. Remember, when you are into a thing without your mind being there, you won't do your best. All right. So to be committed in your marriage, you need to be ready for it. So so that at the end you have nobody to blame for anything that comes out of it. So thank you very much. This is the place where we're going to call it a day here. This program comes to you every Saturday. Please do well to follow us in all our social handle on Facebook. We are Prime Media Studio on NG Speak where you are watching right now. We are ngspeak.com. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. We are NG Speak Studio. And I remain your host again, Mwachuku C Treasure. Till I see you next time on Saturday, please keep watching.